Hi Pisces, and welcome to your horoscope for 2025. Thanks for joining me. It's a pleasure to be with you today. Please watch the horoscopes in this order: for your rising sign first, then for your sun sign, and finally for your moon sign. So in this horoscope, I'm going to have a look at the retrogrades of the personal planets, Mercury, Venus, and Mars, and which one of your houses they retrograde in. Then I'll have a look at the 4 eclipses that we have coming up in 2025, and I'll also have a look at the 4 outer planets that are changing signs this year. That's really significant, because the outer planets represent society and humanity, but they move very slowly. So if we have one outer planet changing sign in a year, that is really significant and it makes a big change to the energy, right? The fact that we have 4 outer planets changing sign in 2025 means that the year is going to look very, very different than the last few years. And it's also going to give a glimpse in the future because they're going to do exactly what Pluto did in 2024. So Pluto, and just as an example, that was in Capricorn since 2008, right? It moved into Aquarius in January 2024, stayed there until September, where it retrograded back into Capricorn, stayed in Capricorn September, October, November, and then it went back into Aquarius, and now it's going to stay there in Aquarius until 2043. And that's exactly what Neptune, Saturn, and Uranus are doing. They're going to dip their toes into the new sign that they're entering this year for a few months. Then they'll retrograde, and then they'll settle into those new signs more long term in 2026. So 2025 is really going to be a glimpse of what the rest of the decade is going to look like. And it's going to be very interesting to experience next year because it's going to herald more of the same in future. Okay, so let's start with the personal planet. Mercury retrogrades 3 times this year. It can retrograde up to 4 times, so it's good that it only does it 3 times. Mercury retrograde always causes issues with communication and transportation. That's the downside. The plus side is that it allows us to see things differently and to consider perspectives and ideas that we usually wouldn't consider. So the first time it retrogrades is on the 14th of March until the 7th of April. And for you, that happens in your, let's see, it happens in your second house, where it's in Aries, and then it retrogrades back into your sign of Pisces in your first house. Okay, so that's interesting because the first retrograde is going to give you the opportunity to see the way you create an income very differently and to consider other options that you may not have considered in the past. And it's an opportunity to actually heal your finances and to increase your level of income. And then when it retrogrades back into Pisces, it's a different perspective as far as you're concerned. And it joins the midheaven and the north node and Saturn and Neptune also in Pisces. So if there's anything that you have felt stuck about, particularly work and career and what you're working towards, like if you're not working, if you're a student or retired, and if you've been going through the motions and you've been like, well, this was interesting in the past, kind of lost interest, I'm still doing the same thing, and I don't know what else to do. This first retrograde in the spring here, if you're in the Northern Hemisphere, is really, really helpful for you to set new goals and to implement that in a way so that you are able to create more of an income or to even create another source of income. The second retrograde is then a few months later on the 17th of July until the 11th of August. And Mercury at this point is in Leo in your 6th house of work and daily routine and even your physical health. So Mercury in Leo is very outgoing. It's very much about leadership. I want to be in the spotlight. I'm confident. So that confidence then allows you to see your daily routine differently and to recognize where you're really not giving yourself enough credit and where you're kind of underplaying it. So it shows you that you have more skill and potential, and that if you make, say, certain changes, that you could have a better experience and a better outcome. And also it will show you whether you're really using all your gifts when it comes to your working life. Also, if you've had a relationship with exercise that hasn't been particularly consistent, you exercise a lot, a few months, and then you don't do anything at all, you'll be able to find something that is more consistent in how it feels, that you can then practice more consistently to have more energy and better health. So if you're a Pisces who wants to get fit here in 2025, this second retrograde is ideal for that. And then finally, the third retrograde is on the 9th of November until the 29th of November. And this one takes place, first of all, in Sagittarius in your 10th house of career. So again, the option and the opportunity to see how can I expand my work, what could I do differently, and how can I tweak my existing work to make it more enjoyable and meaningful. But also, what other options are there where I could maybe even change my job so that I feel more fulfilled in it. And then it retrogrades into Scorpio in your 9th house of travel and education in the higher realms, and you'll really get a deep understanding. Scorpio is about uncovering hidden secrets. You'll really understand what experiences you haven't had that you want to have. So where do I want to travel to? What do I want to learn? How can I strengthen my own spiritual connection? And both of those placements, Sag on the right-hand side of your midheaven in the 10th house, and then the 9th house, that's very much about what you do in public and how you interact with the world. So again, if things have felt a little fuzzy or flat, you'll really discover what puzzle pieces are missing, where you can find them, and how you can insert them to complete the picture here so you have a more solid view of what you're doing moving forwards. Then we also have Venus retrograding, and it only retrogrades once in 2025, so that's good news. Whenever Venus goes retrograde, Venus being the planet of love, beauty, creativity, I always mention that it's not a good idea to get into a new business or to get into a new relationships or even to start a new business, because your perception of what you love can be a little bit off. And then when the planet goes direct again, it can cause disappointment. And it retrogrades in your 2nd house of money. So for you specifically, if you're thinking of starting your own new business, if you possibly can, try not to do it between the 1st of March and the 12th of April. The final personal planet that retrogrades in 2025 is Mars. Mars is ambition, drive, what you're not willing to compromise on, and it's already retrograde on the 6th of December 2024, and it stays in retrograde until the 23rd of February 2025. So when Mars goes retrograde, usually it means that there's a lack of drive, energy becomes less available, but for you it's in your 5th house of what you love, and it's in Cancer. So it's interesting because I think in your case, it's an opportunity not to drive yourself into the ground and to expect the world and to work so hard that you burn yourself out. And second of all, I think it bodes really well for you in romantic relationships, especially ones that are already in place. But if you're a Pisces who's single and you want to meet someone or you're looking for a relationship, I think it's a great opportunity to really connect with people and to show up in an authentic way, and to have great compassion and understanding and empathy, and to connect with someone who's really on the same page as you, because it's not about what I want to achieve and where I want to make progress. It's really about just showing up in the moment and feeling it out and seeing what is the energy that exists between the two of us. So I would even argue, and let me know if you disagree, that I think your Mars retrograde in that 5th is great for you, especially in love and family relationships and things that you really, really care about. So let's move on to the eclipses then. On the 13th or 14th of March, depending on your time zone, we have a full moon in Virgo, and that is a lunar eclipse. So eclipses always come in pairs. So we've got 2 in March and then 2 in September. And an eclipse is always a new moon or a full moon. And the eclipse process interrupts that. And because of the interruption, the energy lingers for about 6 months and it's accessible to you. So the full moon in Virgo lunar eclipse on the 13th/14th happens in your 7th house of relationships in Virgo. And Virgo is very good at making sense of things and creating meaning and being practical. It's also associated with the nurse and the specialist. And being in your 7th, illuminated by that sun in Pisces, that is a wonderful opportunity for, again, love and romance. And it's not just on this day in March, it's for the next 6 months. So until August, September, you're really, really supported in all relationships, but romantic relationships in particular. But I don't think you're going to have problems with family members, colleagues, friends. So I think it's safe for you to really expand your social network, because there's a lot of harmony that's going to be in your life in 2025. And I think you can make some really great, meaningful new connections with people. Okay, and then the second eclipse in March, on the 29th, it's a new moon in Aries that is a solar eclipse. So lunar eclipse, the moon is your heart. Solar eclipse, the sun is your head. And this happens in your second house of money, and it's in Aries next to Chiron, an asteroid that's known as the wounded healer. You're transiting midheaven, and also Mercury, the communication planet, which at that point then is retrograde, right? So you have a wonderful opportunity to pull all this fiery energy in to say, hey, what could be done differently in terms of my income? In terms of how much money I make, in terms of how much securities I've got. And I think it's perfect that Mercury is retrograde, because you'll be able to think outside of the box and consider other ways of making money that you may have dismissed out of hand in the past, and really make some notes during this time. You're going to get some really useful information that if you then actually put it into action, you'll hear ka-ching. Let's go to the next eclipses in September. The first one is on the 7th of September, and that is a full moon in Pisces, and it's a lunar eclipse. So again, it's about your feeling, and this happens in your sign of Pisces, in your first house of self. It's next to the North Node in Pisces and next to Saturn in Pisces. So I think this is really wonderful in terms of getting a real sense of yourself, who you are, and you get to see yourself for all the wonderful things you bring to the table, your talents, your expertise, your experience, your warmth, your love. And I think one is going to be a really wonderful experience for yourself, and you have a good relationship with yourself. But again, it's perfect for relationships with other people, colleagues, in-laws. But mostly, I feel, for you, Pisces, this is the year for romantic relationships. And again, if you're married, I think you're going to have a wonderful time as a couple. But if you're single and you're looking for a relationship, everything so far is supporting that. And remember, this is another eclipse. So from September to what? March, April 2026, it supports you in that area of your life. And then the last eclipse of the year, on the 21st of September, we've got a new moon in Virgo. And that's a solar eclipse. And again, it happens in your 7th house of relationships. This time it's next to the transiting midheaven, the South Node, and Venus in Virgo. So not only is it just good for any kind of relationship, it's also good for romantic relationships, but it's also a great opportunity to start a new, healthy, loving relationship with your own business, especially if it's a creative business, or to evaluate your existing work and to look at what can be altered so that you fall back in love with it, or that you make changes which would allow you to work in a way that you do love to work. Okay, so I've done the horoscopes for the other signs, and Pisces, I think you're one of the luckiest people in 2025 here, both in work and in love. Okay, so let's look at the outer planets then. On the 30th of March until the 22nd of October, Neptune goes into Aries. And Neptune has been in your sign of Pisces, the sign it rules, so it's very comfortable in that placement. Neptune is the imagination. It's an outer planet, so it's the higher octave of Venus, love and beauty, but on a societal level, it's the spiritual net that connects all of us. And with it having been in your first house of self, it could have been real ease in terms of being yourself, or an ease tapping into your own creativity or your own imagination. But it could have also been a little passive and a little complacent. And with it going into your second house of money in Aries, your ideas now, it's the perfect time from the 30th of March until the 22nd of October to express your ideas, especially if you're creative, writing, painting, performing, or if you want to start your own business. It really, really supports you in that. It's your ruler. and it's in the first sign of the zodiac, Aries, the ram, fire. I'm going to get things going. I'm going to hammer my way through until I get to where I want to go. So if you've been wanting to change your income, this is really the perfect opportunity to do it. And you know what's also significant is Neptune moves very slowly. It takes 165 years to go through all 12 signs of the zodiac. Pisces is the last, Aries is the first. So now it's starting a new 165-year journey. And it stays in each sign for about 13 to 14 years. So your ruler now, Pisces, is going to be in Aries for the next 13 or 14 years. So you're going to be far more energized. You're going to be far more willing to take risks, to have conflict that's designed to pay off, not just for the sake of arguing or having stress, but you're really not going to shy away from anything anymore. And you're going to say, hey, listen, if I want to do this, if I'm passionate about it, then of course I'm going to do it. Why wouldn't I? And the great thing is that it pays off financially. So let's say again, because it's an outer planet, it does represent humanity. With this Neptune being in Aries, it's going to give more focus to a lot of people, and we'll notice real innovations in the arts, we'll notice innovations in healing, and also new ways of connecting on a spiritual level. You know, so right now we have yoga and qigong and meditation and stuff. A lot of new spiritual leaders are going to emerge, and they'll show and teach people how they can connect to their own version of spirituality. So I think it's really good news. Then on the 24th of May until the 1st of September, we have Saturn in Aries. And Saturn has also been in your sign of Pisces for years and years. And now it hops over into Aries, and it goes again into your second house of money. Let's go back to, So it joins Neptune in there. Saturn is about structure and security, and what you really rely on is the foundation in your life, right? And in Pisces, it's been my foundation. What I can really truly rely on is my connection to my higher self and to spirit and source, and that's what I can always lean into for comfort. Saturn in Aries is my security in life, is my strength, my ability to get things done, and my ability to build things on my own that are designed to create great structures for the next generation, but also to give me more freedom and movement and autonomy in my life on an everyday basis. So wow, Pisces, you're going to have a wonderful year in terms of getting things done. It's going to feel much easier. And also, it's very likely that you find that you're able to heal your finances and your income in some huge way. So Pisces is also very slow, right? And it's ending its journey, coming out of Pisces, going into Aries. It takes Saturn about 28 to 29 and a half years to complete its cycle around the zodiac. And that's what is known as a Saturn return. If I'm looking at someone's natal chart, happens between the ages of 28 and 29 and a half, 56 and 58, 84 to 86. As far as I'm concerned, that's the most significant thing that can happen in the astrology, because I see Saturn as kind of like the astrological head teacher. It comes along every 29-ish years and it says, hey, are you doing what you're supposed to with your life? If you are, great, I will support you. But if the answer is no, then it can be quite rough, and it can force you to kind of get back on track. And once the initial discomfort is over, that walking the right path then is much easier. It's much more enjoyable, and it's rewarding and meaningful. So Saturn and Neptune sitting in your second house, you're going to find that this is a year where you have a lot of power when it comes to your practical securities and your income. And also, if we're looking at this taking 29 years-ish around the whole zodiac sign, it stays in each sign for 2.5 to 3 years. Sorry if I've said that already. So you have access to this prolific, confident, get things done kind of attitude now for the next 3 years. And if we're looking at it from a societal level, it was in Aries in 1967 to 1969. And that was a period of real social upheaval. People didn't want to follow the rules of the 30s, 40s, 50s anymore. They wanted to live in a way that was freer, which is great for the individual. But also during that time, there were wars and major conflicts. So for you personally, it's really not tolerating anything that doesn't serve you, standing your ground, fighting for what you want. But on a societal level, we could see more conflicts coming in, unfortunately. Then moving on to the next outer planet. And I mentioned, that 4 of them are changing signs. This one, Jupiter, it's the quickest of all the outer signs, outer planets. So from the 9th of June 2025 to the 29th of June 2026, Jupiter moves out of Gemini, and it was in your 4th house of your family and your roots, and it moves into Cancer in your 5th house of what you love and romance and children. So while it was in Gemini, I think it would have really supported you in managing family squabbles and feeling a great sense of I belong, and this is, these are the people I love, and this is where I live, and this is what makes me feel safe. And if I don't have that, I know what to do in order to create that for myself. Jupiter being the great benefic, good luck, good fortune, abundance. In Cancer, it's in a water sign of love and nurturing and kind of the parental role, or taking the lead when it comes to the emotional senses. And it goes into your 5th house of what you love, and it stays there until June 2026. So again, not only is this a great year for you to have a major breakthrough in terms of your work and your income, but again, it looks wonderful as far as existing relationships are concerned, family, love relationships, but also starting new family relationships, dynamics, new romantic relationships. You may disagree with me, you may think I'm going a little far, but Jupiter in the 5th is also really good for things like growing a family by adding children to it, whether that's, birthing your own children or adoption or fostering or anything like that. Ultimately, it's growth, it's expansion, and it's growth in a very positive, good way. And then finally, on the 7th of July until the 7th of November, we have Uranus, the planet of the miraculous and the unexpected and the chaotic, which is also super slow. It takes 84 years to go around the entire zodiac, so a lot of people won't even experience a Uranus return. And it stays in each sign for about 7 years. And that moves out of Taurus, where it caused a little bit of disruption. Uranus is chaos, right? Taurus is fixed, it's earth, it's I want things to stay the same, not a good fit. And it was in your 3rd house of communication, so you could have got very mixed results based on what you put out there and what you received in return. And again, now it goes into Gemini in your 4th house of your roots and your family. So the next 7 years really support you in finding your home, whether that's a metaphorical home via the people you love or a literal home via the house that you want to buy and live in and settle into and redecorate so that it reflects you and your personality perfectly. In terms of the societal side of things again, this is the miraculous and the brand new and the thing that we've never seen before. And Gemini is communication. It's ruled by Mercury, the communication planet. So expect a lot of technical advances in AI, the media, social media, inventions, really the technological conveniences we have in our life, for there to be big changes there to make our everyday experience more comfortable and convenient. But there could also be issues with technology. For you specifically as a Pisces, the influx of energy and the miraculous happens in that area of your life that makes you feel most rooted and grounded and safe and loved within a family. Wow, I wish I was a Pisces. Good for you guys. Okay, so that's what I get for you in 2025. I hope you have a wonderful time. If you'd like a personal reading with me, please get in touch via the website, gregoryscott.com. In my personal readings, I use astrology, the tarot, numerology, and my intuition. I combine all of them. But also, if you just want astrology or just tarot or just numbers, I can also do that. Just let me know what you prefer. To draw up your birth chart, I need your place of birth, date of birth, and time of birth. If you don't have the time of birth, then please order a chart rectification with me. That's a process where you send me 10 or more significant life events and I manually work it out, which is really useful because then the ascendant is accurate and so are the house placements, which is a big thing. And then I can analyze the chart to see what your purpose is work-wise and whether that's the same as your purpose in work, family life, spiritual development, friends, career, money, home life, relationship with self, relationship with the body, anything at all really. I look at the progress chart and the transits to see what's coming up in future. So if you have any questions around when's the best time to move or to invest. And then the astrocartography allows me to see which areas and which parts of the world would really work best for you. So if you're interested in any of those things, please do get in touch for a personal reading. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, please. Hit subscribe for future videos. And please share this video with anyone you think may like it so that the channel can grow. I also do a daily tarot reading on the channel, so if you'd like to watch that, please become a member. You get 30 to 31 videos a month, and if you look at the price, it's very affordable, please. I think so, for 30 to 31. But let me know what you think on that. That's my opinion. You may have a different opinion. So I hope you have a wonderful 2025. I will be with you fortnightly for the new moons and the full moon videos that I do. The daily tarot reading if you join. And then I also do the monthly horoscope for each sign of the zodiac. So please subscribe. Have a wonderful time, and I will be in touch soon. All the best.